Ladies and gentlemen, we have some pretty crazy ass news to cover today. Female Rover's VA, her CN VA, is actually getting sued. And if you're wondering about some of the context for why she's getting sued, well, we got quite a journey to cover. So, way back about a month ago, Rover's VA and CN, her female VA, actually went ahead and did some actions, did some things in the Wuthering Waves community that actually led to an individual getting doxxed. And we made multiple videos actually covering the issue, right? Going ahead, talking about the negative things that she's done in the Wuthering Waves community, talking about her apology video, where she went ahead and basically admitted to causing the entire situation in the first place, even if they didn't directly intend for the doxing to happen. And well, there were a lot of accusations thrown around, but one thing is clear. The VA themselves literally apologized. That's who Turtle Immortal Turtle Lady is. That is Guiniang. That is Female Rover's CN VA, or what used to be her CN VA, because she got fired from the role for the things that she did over here. And the situation is pretty clear for what's going on. There was an apology post made by the doxxed individual, where you can actually see it over here, where they directly make some statements talking about how Guiniang was not actually responsible themselves for the doxing, but there were individuals that went ahead and doxed them. This was clearly compelled by a lawyer, right? This was clearly compelled by Guiniang's lawyers, who, you know, reached out to some professional consultancies, and naturally they guided her on what to do. But now it appears that the victim is striking back. And this is hilarious, right? Especially when you consider the comments that I received from a bunch of, you can probably imagine which communities they were from. A lot of the comments that I received, right, where I had to make an apology. Oh, we were just hating her for no reason. Oh, you're just attacking Guiniang because she voices in a Hoyoverse game. Look how toxic Saint and the Woo-Wah community are. Oh, Saint should get sued, and he should go to jail, right? He deserves to go to jail for spreading fake stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it appears that the victim is striking back. So why don't we go ahead and get some context? Naturally, that's going to be a little bit difficult because you can see law firm office over here, it's all in Chinese, but we've got a translated version. And this is going to be a little bit difficult to read, so we actually got somebody in Discord who's decided to go ahead and, well, break down the issue for us. So why don't we go on a little bit of an adventure and read this section over here. So we're going to have I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. It's a law firm office. And this is from the victim once again. So let's get ready to read this down. The law firm has been entrusted by the client to appoint our lawyer to solemnly address the following matter regarding your recent dissemination of false statements online, which has seriously infringed upon our client's right to reputation. And this online ID, this matches this individual over here, just so you know. Now, getting back into it, which has seriously infringed upon our client's right to reputation. Regarding the previous online dispute, both parties reached a clarification in September 2025, which lines up to a month ago, remember, which lines up to a month ago when all these videos occurred, reached a clarification in September 2025 with the intervention of the police. So this is providing context to the situation that I talked about before, where Guiniang reached out to a lawyer. They told her to go ahead and talk to the police, and then she proceeded to, allegedly, I'm going to use the word allegedly here, intimidate this person into making a public apology, absolving Guiniang of all blame. I love to see that this is addressed over here in the first sentence. Under the full recording of the body camera, our client has provided a face-to-face clarification and apology to you for the previous unverified subjective statement regarding you guiding fans to engage in cyberbullying and doxing of ordinary individuals. Specifically, the remark, "the people harassing me were brought by you," which essentially means this person blamed Guiniang for directing the doxing, when all Guiniang did was, well, leave a very negative, sarcastic comment on their profile for her entire community to see, and then her community went ahead and doxed them. So there was no ability to prove intent over here, right? You can't say that Guiniang intentionally brought these people. Guiniang just put a target on this individual's back, and then the doxing occurred. You can't say that she necessarily intentionally caused it, though. And that's where the whole intent thing is coming in. So, additionally, as requested, our client immediately issued a public statement released on September 11th at 1822. Once again, This is the exact post that they're referencing, right? Saying that they're absolving Guiniang of all blame. And then, to mitigate the impact, the statement clearly stated that Guiniang did not guide fans to cyberbully or harass me, and expressed apologies for the previous inappropriate remarks. The entire handling process was lawful and compliant, with a written apology letter archived at the police station. However, after the dispute has been resolved through the aforementioned means, you recently posted content on social media under the platforms, I'm not going to try to pronounce that, claiming to have been maliciously framed and falsely accused online, suffering a large-scale cyberbullying and rumors from a certain online group, and mentioning the first-hand account of cyberbullies in comment sections. Although these statements did not directly name anyone, given the context of the incident and the online public opinion environment, they have a clear directional implication, suggesting that the client is the so-called false accuser and the cyberbully. Yes, the individual that got doxxed, ladies and gentlemen, got painted as the cyberbully. Imagine a VA puts a target on your back in the community goes to dox you. You say, it's the VA's fault that I got doxxed. It kind of literally is, because once again, and this is the funniest part about all of this, right? The VA themselves admits it's their fault. So the dox victim says, the VA intentionally caused this to occur, which wasn't the case because you can't prove intent, even though she admits to taking the blame for it. Then Guiniang goes to the police, allegedly intimidates the victim into posting an apology to make her look better, and then afterwards, Guiniang is further shit-talking the victim online and putting another target on their back. That's the summary, ladies and gentlemen. So it literally only gets worse. It literally has only gotten worse since the situation resolved back in September. I'm glad that the victim is getting their comeuppance. And that's the original page over here that's getting translated. Now let's read the next page. There's more, don't worry. Therefore, we believe that your aforementioned actions constitute a serious infringement upon our client's right to reputation. The reasons are as follows. Firstly, your description severely contradicts the facts. The matter was already resolved under the supervision of the police, and our client has apologized to you for the untrue statements. And remember, the only untrue statement is an unproven one, that they said Guiniang directly wanted and intentionally caused their doxing. They can't prove that. The remarks you published afterwards distort and misrepresent the clarified facts. Secondly, your statement carries clear derogatory implications. The use of terms such as maliciously framed and falsely accused, cyberbullying and rumors, and the declaration to create a song to commemorate portray our client as the wrongdoer and engage in mockery, demonstrating apparent subjective malice. Is it surprising at all that this is what's going on with Guiniang's VA when you know that she has ties to leaders of XJJ, the group that's known for doxing individuals who happen to critique Hoyoverse games or who play games that compete with Hoyoverse games? Don't worry, they're already doing it for Arknights Enfield, and they have been doing it for Wuthering Waves. Remember Wuthering Waves 2.2 when Cartithia and Cantarella got censored? Yeah, that was literally them. There's proof of it. Just check out my other videos. Finally, these remarks have triggered a new wave of online attention and misunderstanding. 100% true. And it even triggered them on the other side of the world. You can just look at these comments. Guiniang and her framing of the incident led to not just the doxed victim suffering from misinformation. Guess what happened to me as well? And that happened to any person that was covering the issue, because she just can't stop lying, and apparently she just can't stop manipulating individuals in her community. Crazy how that works. The content you posted received tens of thousands of likes and hundreds of shares, leading a large number of netizens to be misled without knowing the truth. This has further exacerbated the decline in our client's social reputation and caused ongoing mental distress and reputational damage. Sounds kind of fair to me. Imagine you got doxxed, your family got doxxed, then you get forced to apologize by the police, and then after apologizing, you get your name further slandered by the person who literally admit fault for causing your doxing. What? I'm not gonna lie. Guiniang's kind of crazy, bro. She is kind of crazy. So, yeah. We already got that over there, reputational damage. Your actions have violated Article 1024 of the Civil Code of the People's Republic of China, which states that no organization or individual may infringe upon another's right to reputation by means such as insult and defamation. To avoid the burden of litigation and adhering to the principle of resolving disputes, This is, again, to avoid a lawsuit. We now formally put forward the following serious demands to you. Immediately cease infringement. Upon receiving this letter, please immediately delete all related infringing content, including, but not limited to, the posts you previously published mentioning false information such as false accusation and cyberbullying, and cease all forms of publishing, reposting, and dissemination. That's the first request. Take all your misinfo-filled shit down. Now the second request. Public apology. You must publish a formal apology statement approved by our client. That's the big one, right? In a prominent position on the homepage of the social media platform where you posted the infringing content, as well as on public platforms of comparable influence. The apology must clarify the facts and eliminate the adverse effects on our client's reputation, helping to restore their good name. The apology content must remain publicly for no less than 30 consecutive days. Yeah, I wonder if she's gonna get fired from another role. Maybe they'll need to replace Kokomi and Asta's VA in HSR as well as Genshin Impact. Ooh, maybe the other stuff's not gonna look that good after this one. Ooh, turns out actions. It turns out you shouldn't be acting like this as a VA for multiple games. And then the third ask, assume corresponding liability. You must bear the corresponding legal responsibility for the reputational and mental damages caused to our client by this infringement. You are required to fulfill the above demands and inform us in writing. Remember, this is like the pain and suffering. This is like the pain and suffering charge over here. You are required to fulfill the above demands and inform us in writing of the outcome within 3 working days from the date of receiving this lawyer's letter. If you fail to respond or comply within this period, our law firm will, upon our client's authorization, immediately initiate legal proceedings by filing a lawsuit with the People's Court against you for your infringing acts. This is the thing. When it comes to lawyers, lawsuits, and this sort of stuff, there has to be a case, right? There has to be evidence. There has to be like a reason for a lawsuit to occur for a firm, right, to go ahead and actually decide to sue somebody. And this firm probably knows in advance that Guiniang has a team of lawyers, right? She's not like somebody that's like easy pickings, right? For a personal damages lawsuit like this. But they still went ahead and they did it. They still went ahead and they're taking on this person as a client. So with that in mind, you have to assume, right, that there is a pretty strong case going on and that Guiniang has fucked up. And genuinely, what I think occurred over here was that Guiniang thought she won. She thought that the victim was just going to tuck their tail and run away after this situation because they went out to the police, right? They got the police statement. They were able to bully them in the courts, make that all occur. But I guess they didn't realize that this individual was a bit more bite than they were bark, because they just kind of have been keeping their head low for a month, because this was on September 11th, it's October 16th, and now they come back swinging with this shit. I wonder how much the damages are. They're probably not disclosed, but these, I assume that the victim, right, they've clearly already been reached out to by the police. I'm pretty sure they got their law firm's approval to post this online. I don't think that they're hurting their case with this one. I don't think this person's stupid. Maybe they are, right? But I don't think they're like an idiot. I don't think that they would do this, share this information, unless it was like pretty ironclad with what's actually going on. And so, I'm just gonna be honest, guys. It's not looking very good for Guiniang. It's not looking good for Female Rover's CN VA. Let's read more. Okay, let's read more. At that time, you will not only face litigation claims such as public apology and compensation for losses, but may also be liable for all the associated legal costs, attorney fees, and other unnecessary expenses. The internet is not a lawless domain. We urge you to value your own reputation, adhere to legal boundaries, and handle this matter prudently. We hereby formally notify you. Oh, dearie me. And just so you all know, within 3 working days from the date of receiving this lawyer's letter, this was sent on the 14th. I do believe it is close to the 17th in China. So ladies and gentlemen, we might see this situation develop more into the future. Maybe we'll get a formal announcement that the damages have been paid, that they've been settled, right? Because we're edging on the 3rd day from when this letter was sent. And I'm just gonna be honest, this is one of the spiciest things I've ever read, but it's also one of the most deserved things I've ever read. Because, Let's just be real here. The amount of misinformation that ended up getting spread that led to content creators being attacked, naturally, the poor doxxed individual getting attacked, they must have gone through a lot over this past month. And so I hope that the damages, whatever's being paid out, or the ensuing lawsuit compensates them severely, because one thing is clear. I think most people can tell they were heavily coerced into this apology by law enforcement, and this happened after getting doxxed. Just think about the timeline, ladies and gentlemen. You get doxxed, you post about it, trying to get people to help you out, or at least recognize that somebody's doing something really bad. They find a loophole in what you posted, manage to get you to publicly apologize. They get the police to like go to your door and intimidate you after you got doxxed already. And then afterwards, she continues to slander your name after A, getting you doxxed, and then B, using the police to intimidate a public apology out of you. Then you get slandered even more by her. And to see the victim actually be able to clap back to this high of a degree, I'm just gonna be honest, guys. It is one of the most, like, you feel a sense of justice actually being done over here. Because there's one comment that I want to read that honestly got me like a little bit sad while I was covering the issue a month ago. It was actually posted by, I imagine, somebody from China. Imagine that you are an ordinary Chinese person with your own job. You don't have 600,000 followers and enough time and money like the other side. She can travel nearly 1,000 kilometers from Shanghai to Henan with her own lawyer to find you. You can take a leave of absence from the company today to handle this matter specifically, but you cannot continue to procrastinate. You need to work hard for your own life. And so we thought that nothing was going to happen. The victim was just going to be bullied, and then Guiniang was just going to go about her day, right? With no issues at all, no complaints. She already bullied the person into submission. But I guess not. And yeah, that's the right term to use, right? Henan. It's the Henan firm office. Henan law firm office. So, yeah, I'm ready to see how this cooks in the future, ladies and gentlemen. I'm waiting with bated breath for the next update over here. All I'm gonna say is, she probably, the doxxed individual, right? I would assume, had to have gotten approval from their lawyers or their law firm office to post this. There's a reason why they've been radio silent since their public apology post that got them into hot water. And this is the other thing. You can look at the number of likes and the engagements over here, right? 1,900 shares on the apology post where they assume full blame when it's clear that they weren't at fault. 3,000 likes. This most recent one, right? 3,000, 4,000 likes, only 221 shares. So it looks like this might be a lot bigger than we thought, ladies and gentlemen. And so, again, 2 days ago, let's see what happens on the 3rd. Very excited for it. And yeah, we'll make sure to cover that issue as well. Because there's one thing that needs to happen for certain. Rats like this in these communities, they make them worse. They need to be exposed. And I'm so glad, I am so glad that Kuro Games got ahead of this and just fired them a whole goddamn month ago. They avoided such a shitstorm. A+ move from them to fire them a month ago and not have to worry about this nonsense anymore. But yeah, that'll be that for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you all thought. Peace.